This is the story about a little girl who wears a red cloak. Can you guess what it's called? That's right, it's Little Red Riding Hood. Sit back and listen. Once upon a time, there was a little girl, and she was called Red Riding Hood. She lived with her mother in a cottage by the woods. One day, her mother had baked some delicious cakes and biscuits for Grandma, who wasn't feeling very well. She asked Little Red Riding Hood if she would deliver them to Grandma. Little Red Riding Hood put on her red cloak. She picked the basket up and she waved goodbye to her mother. Her mother said, "Make sure you go straight to Grandma's cottage and do not talk to any strangers on the way." Little Red Riding Hood set off down the path towards Grandma's cottage. Along the way, she noticed some beautiful flowers growing, so she decided to pick some to cheer Grandma up. As she was picking up the flowers, she came to a shadow, and as she looked up, a wolf was standing next to her. "Well, hello there, little girl," said the wolf. "What's your name?" My name's Red Riding Hood," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Oh, and where are you going today?" asked the wolf. "I'm going to my grandma, who's not feeling very well. I've got some delicious cakes and biscuits to cheer her up." "Oh, very well," said the wolf. "Where does your grandma live?" "She lives over there in the cottage on the other side of the woods," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Oh, that's very nice," said the wolf. "I tell you what, if you take the other path, that way it's a shortcut and you will get to your grandma's house much quicker." Little Red Riding Hood listened to the wolf and she decided to go a different way to Grandma's cottage. The wolf very quickly raced to Grandma's cottage. When he got there, he knocked on the door. "Come in, my dear," said Grandma, thinking it was Little Red Riding Hood. The wolf lifted up the latch, he pushed the door open, and he walked up to Grandma and he gobbled her up. Very quickly he changed into Grandma's clothes. He tucked himself into bed, he pulled the duvet up and he waited. A little while later, Red Riding Hood arrived at the cottage and she knocked on the door. "Come in, my dear," said the wolf. Red Riding Hood lifted the latch, she pushed the door open and she walked inside the cottage towards Grandma. "Grandma, what big ears you have." "Oh, the better to hear you with, my dear," said the wolf. "Grandma, what big eyes you have." "Oh, the better to see you with, my dear, said the wolf. Come a little closer. Red Riding Hood moved a little bit closer. Grandma, what big teeth you have. All the better to eat you with, my dear. And with one big gobble, ooh, the wolf ate Little Red Riding Hood and then fell asleep. The wolf was snoring so loudly that a woodcutter that was going past heard the loud snores and thought, Grandma doesn't snore that loudly. So the woodcutter went inside the house, and there he saw the wolf fast asleep. He took his axe and he chopped the wolf, and out fell Little Red Riding Hood and Grandma. They were safe. The woodcutter had saved them. Together